Welcome to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Now here along with Dr. Bonati, your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thank you for joining us on American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell. To my left, I have executive radio producer Ethan Euchre.
I am here. Always a pleasure.
And as well, we have senior fellow Jeff Wagstaff.
I love how that sounds.
Senior fellow.
Present and accounted for.
Still doesn't mean anything, but
Think tank.
whatever.
Think tank. Okay. And across from me, we have world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Alfred Bonati, and he is already hard at work kind of scoping out what he's going to be talking about.
The guy that makes it all happen,
Yes.
Dr. Bonati.
Hello. He's actually doing his fantasy football picks over here.
Who should I start? Who should I bench?
Well, every week we speak to patients of the Bonati Spine Institute, and they tell us about their stories. But they're not just stories. They are patients that receive true resolve from the Bonati spine procedures. And I don't want to mix things up because there are a lot of folks out there that try to jump on what's called the minimally invasive bandwagon. They are not the Bonati Spine Institute. They in no way, shape, or form can perform the Bonati spine procedures. They are patented procedures that this world-renowned orthopedic surgeon set out and took years to develop his own patented procedures and tools to bring relief to the masses. So instead of just treating a symptom, they're able to get to the true root of the problem. And that's something you don't find at any other facility. And for the most part, with a 7.5-year patient satisfaction survey, it reflects 98.75% patient satisfaction.
And the fact that they took 7.5 years to be that thorough about the study is pretty impressive as well.
Let me give you some more insight to this. They have done that time and time again, and that's the number that they're at every single time. Now, we have 7.5 years, because when you do a certain study, you want the longest time span. So this is the most recent.
It's impressive.
And with that being said, we have quite a full and interesting show today. We are excited. We have Dr. Jason Dubois, a registered pharmacist, educator, and co-founder of Hybrid Remedies. And he's going to speak to us about something called Hybrid CR, Rapid Immune Defense. And let me tell you, with the colds that are going around, I know I was just on, Z-Pack, to try to get over this yuck, so to speak. Maybe this product would help. I don't know.
A lot of nastiness in the air.
And now, is this an in-studio guest,
Yes.
Tampa attorney David Singer? We can't wait. We've been discussing term limits since the onset of this program. Term limits and why they are so important. Well, he's going to tell us how they work and how to change term limits.
This is going to be one of those, I think, where probably the three of us could walk out and leave Dr. Bonati to talk
For the whole
to
show.
this attorney, and they could just go off about term limits. So it's going to be an exciting one, I think.
Yes, and then we'll hear, of course, what's new in American medicine today. But up first,
In today's Back to Life segment, we will talk to a patient of the Bonati Spine Institute who went from living a life that was restricted by pain and discomfort through their journey of finding the Bonati Spine Institute and are now living pain-free.
well, we have Michael Bindus on the phone, and he is joining us from New Jersey.
Jersey. Anytime someone
Thank
says
you.
New Jersey, I have to do that. I'm sorry.
Hey, Michael, how you
There
doing?
you go.
How's it going
Thank
there,
you for
Michael?
being here. Now, what's not a laughing matter is how you came to the Bonati Spine Institute. So why don't you tell us your story? What was it? What was the pain like? What steps did you go through? And then how did you find the Bonati Spine Institute?
Okay. Well, several years ago, I was in no pain.
Okay.
I mean, infrequently I would have some pain, but it was, from exertion. I was running between 20 to 30 miles a week. I was working in construction, and I also coach fencing, so I was very, very active.
Fencing.
That's cool.
Sound like you're in good
And
shape.
It just started sometime when I would run. I'd feel a pain shoot down my leg.
Okay.
And even before it even got to be a pain, it was just, I thought it was just like a muscle would be sore or it would be tight and just go, well, I just have to stretch a little more.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would become more and more consistent all the time when I wouldn't run, and then it became more and more painful, and it would be down the back of my butt, pass through the thigh just to about the knee.
But Michael, you were
And
never
then-
in. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you were never in an
No.
accident or anything like that, or slip and fall or anything.
No, never had anything like that happen. I guess I want to say I just lived my life, but maybe it was rough at times, but I did not feel like there was nothing that ever, an incident that
triggered
that
it.
did anything.
When those bouts of pain flared up, what did you try to do so that you could do your daily activities?
At first, I tried Advil. I tried extra stretching, changing my routines, changing what I would do to see, if it was just I was running or doing something wrong.
Sure.
Then from there, I progressed. I did acupuncture. I did trigger point therapy. I did massage therapy.
All conservative
over
things.
a course of a year and a half, as the pain kept being more persistent and wouldn't, instead of being maybe a couple times a week, then be every day, then be constantly,
Right.
and varying degrees as it just kept getting more and more.
And what was the
and-
trigger? Sorry, don't mean to cut you off, but what was the trigger that caused you to seek out something than conservative methods?
Yeah, when did you finally decide, all right, these other things aren't working, I'm still feeling
That
this
last
pain,
straw.
I really need to...
When I had to reduce all my activity.
Okay.
And so where did you
what
look?
happened was that it got to the point where I couldn't run anymore. I couldn't fence and coach as much as I wanted to. I couldn't if I did, it would be then I'd have a debilitating evening.
Got it.
Did you begin,
I'd come home, I'd try to sit down, and then I wouldn't be able to get back up.
Michael? Did you begin by consulting your primary care physician, or once you realized you
yes,
had to
I
address
did.
it? Tell us what you did.
Originally, I also did, and then through him, I went and did physical therapy
Okay.
for a while, which I had some results, but I would say more hit and miss because it would work sometimes. And since I live an active life, I'm always kind of in physical therapy and
Right.
training. I felt when I did physical therapy, there was not really anything new that they were doing that was different than me
Now
than
you're.
what I did day to day. But it just didn't. It didn't go away. So as the pain kept increasing and having more and more severe pain, I just said I had to go find what I could do to make it go away.
And you found yourself going from New Jersey to the Bonati Spine Institute in Hudson, Florida.
Yes.
Okay. What, first off, how'd you get there? Did you fly? Did you drive? And then kind of walk us through that process from when you showed up.
I flew,
Okay.
and it's a short flight, so it wasn't that bad at all.
Okay.
When I got in, I checked in like any other office and waited, had my consultation, everything. I don't know. For me, it was very quick. It
Okay.
seemed very quick. Everybody was very nice and attentive, and we just went through all the steps, and it was just very fast.
When you met with the doctor and you had your, they call it the evaluation. Once they have all diagnostics, they kind of go through and they try to tell you where they see or they believe you're feeling the pain. What was that like for you? Did you feel as though you were being properly diagnosed?
Oh, yes, absolutely. He even said something because he said it could be like this or that, how the pain could be going from what he saw from my x-rays and the MRI, and was spot on where I was feeling things and what it was doing.
Okay.
And Michael, from the procedure itself, from the standpoint of getting the procedure done, at what point did you start to feel pain relief? Immediately afterward?
I would say after the drain, when the drain tube was taken out.
Okay.
Which is pretty shortly after surgery, correct?
Yeah, so that was the next step. I felt fine afterwards, but it's just that with the drain tube in was uncomfortable for me.
Right.
After, I was given some nice drugs to make the pain go away, but after the tube was taken out, I did not need to take anything.
I like how he stressed nice.
Nice.
Some
Yeah,
nice.
but then did you hear him? After the drain was taken out, he didn't need them anymore.
Wow, that's
I didn't,
incredible.
well, I didn't. I only took it the first day because of the. I did have a 40-minute ride back and forth to the institute,
Right.
so that was just I was leaning on the tube. But after that, there was just instantaneous. It was a lot better.
So how soon were you back to fencing and coaching kids and back to your active lifestyle?
That was a month and a half.
Wow. But
A month
fencing.
and a half. I just I felt better. I think I could have done it sooner, but I was just wanted to be, I would say, conservative for myself.
We hear that all the time, so it's just amazing. And especially with fencing, it is so
Physical,
physically
yeah.
active. And a lot of patients do this because they go, oh, I'm finally feeling better. I don't want to do anything to mess it up. But like you said, you're back at it now. And if you saw somebody that was suffering in pain like you, is that something you would feel good about telling them about the Bonati Spine Institute?
Oh, absolutely. There are actually several friends of mine that I think might be going down that they're interested. But what seems to be, at least for like one friend has been in pain for years, but she's more afraid of the idea of the surgery than to get away, but not enough to want to get away from her pain.
Got it. Well, when that changes, have her give us
Give
a
us a
call.
call.
Right now, we have Bonati, Dr. Bonati of the Bonati Spine Institute in studio with us. If you'd like to say anything to him, feel free.
I'd just like to say thank you very much for everything. It was a pleasant experience, not anything that I thought it would be like, and everything just went really well for me.
Thank you, Mike, for coming to us.
And we are very glad that you're doing better, Michael.
All right, we appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time, Michael, and continued pain-free living, as we like to say. Appreciate
Yes.
you joining us on American Medicine today, sir. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
All right,
Thank
take it
you.
easy.
Thank you.
Another great success
So-
story. Love hearing those.
Dr. Bonati gets very, would you say shy? Is that the correct word?
Uncomfortable?
He gets uncomfortable. He gets
Visually uncomfortable.
Visibly uncomfortable anytime because he never likes to feel like he's going like this. But you know what? Kudos to you, sir, because without you, people would still be going through those traditional methods that are inefficient.
Exactly.
You are listening to News Radio 970 WFLA, and we are American Medicine Today. You'll catch more after the break. We're going to be speaking with
Dr. Jason Dubois.
Dubois.
Yeah.
I love that name.
It kind of rolls off the
Yes,
tongue. He's
yes.
got a pretty cool thing called Hybrid Remedies and Rapid Immune Defense. So,
Yes.
cold season coming up and all of that. Don't do that, especially you're right across from me. Got Ebola floating around. I don't want to get caught with that stuff. So we'll talk to him next.
We'll have more after the break. You're listening to News Radio 970 WFLA.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years, and it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results, no pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now, I can garden, I can cook, and I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thank you for tuning in to American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Alfred Bonati of the Bonati Spine Institute. As well, we have Ethan Euchre here and our senior fellow, Jeff Wagstaff. And I just wanted to say, for those of you that have Twitter accounts, you can tweet at Dr. Bonati or hashtag American Medicine Today. You can also email us if you have any comments or questions, or if you want to participate in the program, info@AmericanMedicineToday.com, or you can call 727-495-5200. Also, if you or someone you know suffering with back, neck, or sciatic pain, reach out to the Bonati Spine Institute because you don't need to suffer. There is help. 855-267-0483. Now, with that said, we have Dr. Jason Dubois on the line, and he is a registered pharmacist, educator, and co-founder of Hybrid Remedies, the Hybrid CR Rapid Immune Defense. And thank you for being here with us, sir.
How you doing, Dr. Dubois?
Well, thank you so much for having me on. I'm doing great.
Again, full disclosure here,
Yes.
but Jeff Wagstaff, our senior fellow, happens to know Dr. Dubois, correct?
Well, Dr. Dubois and I have not met, but one of my best friend's wives works in marketing for Dr. Dubois. She was telling me about the product.
Knows that you're a part of a health and medical show.
Absolutely.
Thought it'd be a good topic.
Yeah, and it's just such a true American success story that I thought it fit perfect with American Medicine Today.
So, Dr. Dubois, from what I understand, you started out as sort of like a clinical pharmacist, correct? And you thought a lot of this natural remedy stuff was a bit of hocus pocus and all of that, correct? Hooey. Phooey.
I guess you could put it that way. I was quite the skeptic. If we kind of rolled the clock back, maybe 10 plus years. I'm still a practicing pharmacist, still a clinical pharmacist. But 10 years ago, I did not believe in natural remedies or natural supplements of any kind.
What changed your mind?
Well, what changed my mind, I guess, was somewhere along the way, I decided to challenge myself to figure out, was there any evidence to actually support if some of these remedies work? And, this is going back a number of years. I don't know if you guys remember, back, somewhere 2004 when a well-known product by the name of Airborne was kind of at the peak, and everyone was kind of raving about this natural supplement made by a school teacher.
Yes.
So anyhow, people were asking me, what were my thoughts, what was my professional opinion on that?
And Dr. Dubois, didn't you think, and this is my perspective and always kind of has been on these sort of things, that a lot of it is the placebo effect, where if you think that this herbal remedy is going to work, it'll kind of work for you because in your head you've convinced yourself it's going to work. That's always been kind of my stance on it.
Well, there is definitely a placebo effect. And it can be pretty significant depending on the individual. But so what you want to do to kind of get evidence-based information from that is you want to look at what the evidence is. And for me, evidence was based on clinical trials. So the way I decided whether an herbal supplement worked, or when I decided to formulate my own product, I based it on good, solid clinical trials, not anecdotal evidence, not something that I thought or you thought, but what did the clinical trials tell us?
And what did they tell you?
Well, I looked at over 200 herbs, and what I thought would take maybe a weekend to kind of knock out, because that is kind of my forte is clinical research. It ended up taking me 2 years to research 200 herbs, and through that process, I found that there was a lot of herbs that didn't really enhance the immune response. But interestingly enough, I found that there were a handful that did it and did it really, really well.
And I see that there's 5 key ingredients in your product, which is Hybrid CR, Rapid Immune Defense. I don't even know how to pronounce some of these. What are they, and what do they do? Why are they beneficial?
Okay. So we do use 5 ingredients. Of course, this is supported by the clinical trials. 2 of them are minerals, zinc and selenium. And then we use 3 botanical ingredients.
Okay.
So we use a combination of Andrographis, Echinacea purpurea, and Panax ginseng. And what each one of those herbs does is basically support the immune system from different aspects. The immune system, as you know, is a very complex system. It's made up of a variety of different cells. And if you want to actively support the immune system, you have to target different cells to do that. And you need more than one herb to accomplish that.
Dr. Dubois, earlier you mentioned Airborne, because people are kind of familiar with that product. How is Hybrid Remedies similar? How is it different? And how are you marketing it?
Well, you know, Airborne is a very popular product. It's mainly composed of minerals, where ours is mainly composed of active botanical ingredients. You know, I can consider mine kind of like the adult version, the grown-up version of Airborne, if you will. You know, there's a lot more evidence behind it. We did do our own clinical trial, so we do stand out in that sense compared to some of the other products, including Airborne. You know, Airborne is intended to be used kind of at the onset of a cold or illness, whereas ours can be used at any time.
That was going to be my next question, actually, is your product something that you should take every day, sort of like a supplement or a vitamin, or only when you kind of feel something coming on?
Well, what we find is that the best time to use Hybrid CR is at the beginning, upon that first symptom.
Okay.
But we have had people benefit from it, you know, several days into their symptoms and still get better faster. Can you use it on a daily basis? We do have some people that have chronic immune conditions that do benefit from it, taking it once a day. But by and large, it's a 4-day remedy. It comes in a very portable dose pack for convenience, and the intent is to use it when you need it most.
The thing I like about it is that all ingredients are non-GMO, and we had actually done a show where we had somebody speaking about
genetically modified organisms, which are in pretty much everything that we eat, apparently.
So I'm glad to hear that yours are not.
And where can people get these, Dr. Dubois? Where's your product available?
Well, we're in over 150 stores just in Florida alone. Where you guys are located in the Tampa market and the surrounding markets, we're located in a chain of stores called Richard's Foodporium, which is a wonderful health food establishment. And we're also located in a couple other stores that you guys may be familiar with, Rollin' Oats and Nature's Food Patch.
Excellent. All right. And do you guys have a website?
We do. You can find more information about our product at www.hybridcr.com.
Okay. Well, very good. We appreciate you joining us. Dr. Jason Dubois, registered pharmacist, educator, and co-founder of Hybrid Remedies, and the product is Hybrid CR Rapid Immune Defense. Thanks for joining us on American Medicine Today, sir.
Well, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Dr. Dubois.
Have a great day. All right. Good stuff.
It is. Well, you know, if you or someone you know is suffering in pain, reach out to the Bonati Spine Institute, 855-267-0483, or visit Bonati.com. You don't have to suffer in pain. After the break, you're going to have a guest in studio.
It's going to be a good one. I think you're going to want to hear this guy.
Tampa attorney David Singer about term limits.
Dr. Bonati has been freaking out about term limits for a long time. So.
How do we get the lifelong career politicians out of here? We'll hear more up next. You're listening to News Radio 970 WFLA.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonatti Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonatti spine procedures, Alfred Bonatti, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonatti and your host, Kimberly Vermel.
Thanks for listening to American Medicine Today on News Radio 970 WFLA. I'm Kimberly Vermel, joined by Ethan Euchre, world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonatti of the Bonatti Spine Institute, and to my right, in studio guest, woohoo! We have
We don't have too many of those, so we get excited when we have somebody stop by.
Exactly.
Happy to be here today.
This gentleman is David Singer, Tampa attorney with Singer and O'Donnelly.
You got it.
Okay, discussing term limits. So, with that said, how do we get these lifelong career politicians out of here?
Well, we have two separate branches of government that we're going to talk about. One is the state government and one is federal government. The state government here in Florida, we actually do have term limits for our state senators and state house members. Each are restricted to 8-year terms in their respected bodies. Now, there is one caveat to that. Once you've served your 8 years and take a term off, you can go to the other body, or you can be reelected to your former position in the Senate or the House. So we say we have term limits, but in effect, you do have folks serving for quite a long time in one of the two respected bodies with a little bit of time off, namely one term in between. Now, in the federal government, when you have the U.S. House and the Senate, there are no term limits for congressmen and for senators.
And from some of the research that I've done, and I know Doc is going to jump in here any second because he's very passionate about the topic. From some of the research that I've done, this goes all the way back to when they framed the Constitution and the Articles of Confederation and this and that. And they really, the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists went back and forth about whether there should be term limits in the Constitution.
But actually, you sent kind of this prep work, and it talks about, what did they say, like 5 BC?
What do you mean?
Term limits and things stretch back
All the way to 5 BC?
Yes.
Yeah, all
yes.
the way to 5 BC.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So,
But the way they were set up from what I was reading, at least here in the U.S., is the Federalists were against term limits. They said, hey, it's the people, and if the people elect these politicians, they should be able to, as long as they keep getting reelected, they should be allowed to. And Thomas Jefferson and some of the anti-Federalists, I can't even say that word. That's a tough word. They said, we absolutely got to have some term limits in there because it'll corrupt. The power will corrupt.
Well, remember, the Federalists, when we were framing the Constitution and back at the time of the Revolution, were for a strong central government. And the Anti-Federalists were for a weaker central government and for more power to the state governments.
Right.
But when they framed the Constitution, Article 1, Sections 2 and 3 speak to U.S. House representatives and United States senators. And the article reads, Article 1, Section 2 reads, the House of Representatives shall be composed of members chosen every second year by the people of the several states. Section 3 says the Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, chosen by the legislature thereof for 6 years. Now, that was amended by the 17th Amendment when we had senators being directly elected by the people. But the Constitution does not call for term limits for federal officers of the House and Senate.
And even to this day, Doc, they talk about how you got both sides of it. One side says if the Constitution is silent on a topic or a certain issue, then that means, that we shouldn't do anything to change that because the Constitution didn't directly address that. But then the other side is, well, if it doesn't address it, then that means we can change it if we like. Right. So it's kind of an impasse, a little stalemate there.
In 1994, which was a huge Republican wave year, election year, in Congress, the House Republican leadership actually attempted to amend the Constitution to bring term limits for members of the House and the Senate. And when you attempt to amend the Constitution, you have to have 2/3 vote by the House and the Senate. And if you have 2/3 vote to send a proposed amendment to the Constitution, it's then sent to the 50 states. And you have to have a 3/4 ratification of an amendment by the states. So that translates into 38 out of 50 states legislatures have to agree with what Congress is asking for the Constitution to say. And that would have in 1994 been the 28th Amendment to the United States. But Congress couldn't get the majority to even send it to the states.
Well, what I've always said to Doc is that that's the problem you're going to run into is that if someone was telling me to vote yes on limiting my own ability to continue what I'm doing, I would say, well, hell no, I'm not going to vote yes on that.
And federal elected officials did not do that. But interestingly, 15 states have done that. Yes. 15 state legislatures have voted to amend their own state constitutions and limit their terms.
Do you have the list, though, of the states that overturned?
There's a couple states that have overturned their own term limits. I think Idaho was one of them.
Washington?
Washington may have been. I think
that's
Utah,
what I read.
Utah may have been, but Idaho certainly.
And Dr. Bonatti, go ahead.
So what I understand that this is a topic that is dear to the country because the reality is if you maintain individuals that they are not going to be responsible to the electorate, then they become practically self-serving for their own type of needs. So is absolutely necessary to engage the public, and the citizen needs to be responsible to capture once again the responsibility of the politicians. Meanwhile, these situations not being addressed, very forceful, and to do that, you need to have some type of a number of individuals in each state that they will vote to amend the Constitution. But to do that, what are the steps that are necessary to create that type of a move?
So there's two ways that you can amend the Constitution of the United States. One way, as we discussed, was the House and the Senate, by 2/3 majority, draft a proposed amendment, vote on it, pass it, send it back to the states for ratification, and 3/4 of the states then state legislatures have to ratify the amendment. That's one way.
Yeah, but that you know very well that is like you take the food from my house, and I will say to you, absolutely not.
The other way is if state constitutional conventions are called for by 2/3 of the states.
That's dangerous.
But that is dangerous.
Yeah.
If 2/3, and now then it goes into the same process though. If 2/3 of the states call on their legislatures to draft and pass an amendment, then it must again be ratified by 3/4 of the states.
But if you do that move, and that's exactly what the left in the country will like to have, because then they will destroy the Constitution.
Erase everything.
Will change everything in the Constitution in their direction.
Now
so that is an open door to the enemy.
So there's 27 amendments to the Constitution. Yeah. 0 have been effectuated by the latter method that we talked about through state constitutional conventions. 0 out of 27.
Yeah.
But how about the citizen is not a possibility to create a group of individuals that they vote against re-elect these professional type of legislators?
Well, the most basic form of term limits happen every 2 years, and those are elections, and people can vote their congressman out of office.
Yeah, but that is not really very effective because 90% of the population, if you go really and look how educated they are in politics, very few people really are engaged in politics.
Well, Doc, and that goes back to the original framing of the Constitution as well, and the debate of whether you should have a representative democracy or a direct democracy, where the population votes directly for who's going to be in office, whereas what we have and what they settled on was the representative democracy, because the folks on that side that were pulling for we need a representative democracy said basically, in essence, they said the people aren't smart enough to make these decisions for a direct democracy. So we need representatives in there to do that for them.
And that's why you saw a balanced approach in Article 1, Sections 2 and 3. With the House of Representatives, the framers said they will be elected directly by the people. Mm-hmm. With the United States Senate, they said, no, our state legislatures are actually going to appoint United States senators until the 17th Amendment changed that.
So how you see this possibility to get term limits?
Well, it is in the purview 100% in the federal government. The state governments don't have the authority to put term limits on U.S. House members and members of the Senate. In 1995, actually, the Supreme Court ruled that term limits imposed by the states on their representatives in Congress were unconstitutional. And that was in U.S. term limits versus Thornton.
So, and if a Supreme Court case decision has decided on this, typically, because that's the precedent, that's as high as it can go, is the Supreme Court. If they've said, no, it's not going to happen, it's probably never going to happen.
The only way to do it is to amend the Constitution.
What about referendums or different things? Isn't there another, you're saying it's only an amendment?
When we're talking about United States House of Representatives, United States Senate, the only way to do it is through the amendment process.
Wow. Well,
now, if members of, for instance, the state of Florida got together with members of 2/3 of the other states and held their own constitutional conventions, they could put it to the 50 states to pass an amendment to the Constitution. But as we discussed, that has never happened in the history of our country.
Wow. All right. Well, I don't know if that answered any of your questions, Doc. I'm sure he just doesn't want to accept that information that we just gave him.
Or do you want to discuss further in your next segment coming up after the break?
No, it's just only that we need to learn how to make the politicians accountable. I think the way to do it is educate the people and be more prompt to make the politicians responsible for their actions. I mean, it's unbelievable to see right now how lack of common sense is with this actual situation of Ebola. And when you see that they refuse to close the borders, they refuse to block the immigration of planes that they're bringing people to the major big American airports, and they're not even creating the minimal type of responsible control, then it's sad to see that these people is elected by us.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we appreciate you stopping by the studio, David. And again, hopefully that answered some of our questions that have been lingering on this topic for a long time. David Singer, Tampa attorney with Singer O'Donnelly. Where are you guys located? Over in Hyde Park,
We're
correct?
right in Hyde Park Village.
Very cool. Well, we appreciate you stopping by the studio and answering some of our questions.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Well, you're listening to American Medicine Today on News Radio 970 WFLA. If you or someone you know is suffering with neck, back, or sciatic pain, reach out to the Bonati Spine Institute, 855-267-0483, or Bonati.com. After the break, you'll hear more on what's new in American Medicine Today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
You're joining us for American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by our executive radio producer, Ethan Euchre.
I am here, indeed.
Our senior fellow, Jeff Wagstaff.
Good afternoon.
Is back in studio, and of course across from me, world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Alfred Bonati of the Bonati Spine Institute. He's a little defeated and deflated, beat up.
He hasn't even turned his mic on yet because I think he's just so
silenced,
dejected.
I think.
over David Singer,
Yeah.
the attorney we just had in.
I'm afraid for you to play the sounder.
This, you mean?
Yeah.
Let's look at what's new in medicine today, featuring Alfred Bonatti, MD.
Doc,
Well,
we can wipe away our tears about the Constitutional Convention and
Yeah.
term limits and reforming them. And according to David, it looks like there's not much that can be done due to a Supreme Court issue. But
We'll talk.
yeah.
I'm not going to talk about that.
You're not gonna talk
today.
about that.
I'm not prepared to talk about that.
all right, well, what do you want to talk
I'm
about?
totally depressed. we need to talk about something different. Let's talk about something that is really also an other taboo in our medicine.
Obamacare?
No, I'm talking about there are certain illnesses or there are certain problems in spine treatments that they are really very much misunderstood.
Okay.
And they are misunderstood because it's like a revolving door. The patient has a problem and they put a type of a name, and that name remains, and the person is being shuffled for life in a corner. It cannot be treated. It's a lot of people that they have adhesive arachnoiditis, and they don't really know very much what is the cause from. One of the situations are being described like they are very massive type of a failure of back surgery. When you have a failed back surgery, seems to be that the reaction of the tissues become and form a cluster type of the nerves that they are inside of the canal on the dura, inside of the dura. They agglutinate. They become too much together, and then produce very much a back pain with leg pain that is intractable, and they go pains and pain and pain. I thought that was really, that's what they taught me in medical school. That's what I carry for many, many years. But in my experience, that's not right. Seems to be, yes, it's a diagnosis on that disease. That is a radiological diagnosis. But then sometimes you find that their radiological diagnosis, they are not really creating the pain. I believe that is some type of a neurological impingement. And I start to treat some of these patients with absolutely excellent results. There's another problem that they are a sympathetic dystrophy. You talk about sympathetic dystrophies, around 5 million people in this country that they are being treated for sympathetic dystrophy.
And that's RSD?
Yes, that's RSD. And then sympathetic dystrophy is described like pain. That's very, very much very similar in certain ways at the intractable pain of the arachnoiditis. They have some sensation of burning, they have swelling, they have pain in the leg, and then again, I have some of these people, but I have somebody who came from Europe with ready to have an amputation in her leg. And we look at that patient, and she had a compression on the 4-5 level. We operate that area, and the patient changed completely from a very, very, very angry and in patient with a lot of pain to a total sweet individual without pain.
So they even had a personality change just because
of the pain.
Yeah,
but at the same time, because they are telling these people that they don't have any solution. I really think this is another case that is associated with the compression. But it's another symptom, the fibromyalgia. You go with fibromyalgia, they are in the country around 17 or 18 million people with that diagnosis. That is an enormous amount of people.
Isn't that one of these diseases, though, or conditions, I guess, where it's more of a phantom disease because they don't really know? I mean, that's just from a layperson's standpoint of things that I've read and heard about it, is that a lot of times if people are in pain, the doctor doesn't know what it is, they say, fibromyalgia.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And the problem is in fibromyalgia, the patient has
Extreme
some
pain.
similar type of a pain. He has a leg pain, has a back pain, has sensation of has sensation of burning, has sensation of swelling, has sensation of tingling, and it's in different parts of the body, and then the doctor goes and looks at the patient and goes, fibromyalgia.
But is that a result of a constriction of the nerve?
Yes, it is. Well, this is what I believe. I believe that all these diseases are the major problems is start with some sort of stenosis in some part of the canal, and if you go and you look, for example, if it is individual who has pain on the thumb, on the index finger, and goes all the way down to the shoulder, and that pain is associated with other pains. But if you just tackle that pain first, I found that pain disappears. And sometimes you need to do maybe several types of an approach for different places, because seems to be that they are in several areas where the stenosis occur. So I really think this type of sympathetic dystrophy, arachnoiditis, and in fibromyalgia are practically similar syndromes that they need to be studied a little bit better, and we need to start to remove from that box of a lot of symptoms and try to eliminate one by one and see if we can treat those populations, because 18 million people with fibromyalgia, it's not a joke. 5 million people with sympathetic dystrophy is not a joke, and these people have no solutions.
But the common
sorry, Kimberly, go ahead.
The common factor, was that the Bonati spine procedures have helped.
Well, in these cases, yes, we have some good solutions.
Perfect. Now's the time for that.
And that's a look at what's new in medicine today with Alfred Bonati, MD.
Well, you're listening to American Medicine Today. Check us out on WFTS ABC 28, 7:30s on Saturdays, also as well on the Fox Network, 5 on Saturdays, 5:30 Sundays, and of course, we'll be back next week on News Radio 970 WFLA at noon. See you then.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.